Hey, what's happening? It's time for the Real Table Podcast, episode 29. Yes, I did check before I started recording. It's a first. I've done it before about 3-4 times, and I need to get in a better habit of it. So how's it going? It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, July 17th, and every day we get closer to the new Slipknot album in August, the new Tool album in August, and Slipknot's playing here in Phoenix in August, and the new Girl with the Dragon Tattoo book. I think it's called The Girl Who Lived Twice. I swear to God, if they pull a Jack Bauer and then kill Elizabeth Salander and then bring her back to life, this new guy will bring nothing new to the table. You know? Anyways, how's it going? If you haven't caught up, or you haven't been, paying attention too much, August is it's scheduled to be a good month for me, which is weird because August is usually, what the fuck? That guy has a Florida Panther sticker on the side of his car. Respect! Nice! I like that. There we go. Look at that, Florida Panther fan out here in Arizona. Cool. All right. Whoever that guy was, he gets a big table shout out. All right, cool. I wish more people would do that. Just put a sticker of whatever team you like on your car. Unless it's like a big team, then, who cares? Everybody's a Chicago fan or a New York fan, all right? I don't care about that. I want to see Winnipeg, Edmonton, Florida, Ottawa, Minnesota, teams like that. Dallas. I want to see teams like that. Yeah, I forgot to put my phone on vibrate. But you know what? We already started recording. I'm in a good mood because of that Florida Panther sticker. So let's just keep this shit going. Let's keep it going. Like Sam Kinison said. Party don't stop. I don't know what he said. I forgot. But anyways, it is Wednesday, July 17th. And with what I just said, August has historically not been a good month for me, like at all. Like really not so chill things happen, or things just, it's not good. It's not a good month. I can't talk, even though I was really looking forward to recording, which again I think is a pretty normal thing. You're excited to record or go on stage to do whatever, you get on stage and you kind of like panic for the first couple minutes and then everything's fine. This isn't really like panic, but this is like, I'm so excited to talk, I need to slow down mentally and pick and choose what I want to talk about. And I do have a couple things that I want to talk about. I have a couple stories that I want to tell. But before we get into that, August has not been a good month. A few years ago. By the way, I am driving to the record store, so we're going to be doing this I forgot what episode number it was, but the long-term plan on that podcast, we did the exact same thing. We recorded and drove to Zia Records. I think I did it on another podcast too, I just don't remember. I do know long-term plan, we did. But a few years ago, right? Yeah, a few years ago in August, that was when I went through my first major breakup, a long-term relationship. We were together for about 9 months, 9.5, maybe 10. But that was that first breakup and the falling out of that, It's amazing how going through a breakup and watching your favorite sports team lose in the playoffs, it's kind of almost the same feeling. Like the shock of it. The first few minutes is like the exact same feeling. Your heart sinks, your whole body sinks, and you find yourself just staring at the quote-unquote TV or something, and you're just like, now what? We just lost either the World Series or this was Game 7. If we won, we would have gone to the World Series. We lost. Now what do we do? Now what? That's kind of the same feeling when you get broken up with. You just kind of like, you feel like you're just staring into an empty void, and you're just asking yourself, now what? Now what's going to happen? I don't see anything. I don't see a future. When you get broken up with. When you break up with somebody, it's a little bit different. I've never broken up with anyone, so I can't really say. I've been told it's a good feeling to break up with somebody, and ironically, most people that tell me that are women. So I have had a couple guys say they broke up with a girl and it did feel good or empowering or whatever. I don't know. But like I said, more women have told me it's a good feeling to break up with somebody, which is like, all right, don't let that get out, because that's definitely not gonna. No one's gonna want to be with you if you like kind of enjoy breaking up with someone. Then people are gonna hear that and be like, all right, I don't want to be with you because you're gonna like enjoy it. Then no, I'm staying away. I'm not gonna sign this free agent. I'm not gonna give him a contract. Some other team can swoop in and give him a contract. That's what it's kind of like. I'm not saying getting in a relationship with a woman is like, paying them. It's an analogy of if a woman or a guy is single, and people go, why are they single? Well, it's because they do this. And people go, oh, yeah, I'm not going out with that. I'll stay away from them. Man or woman, okay? Historically, like I said, it's been more common that men go after women and ask the women out, right? So that's where the analogy of like, do I want to pursue this woman? Do I want to pursue this free agent? I don't know. Maybe I should. I ran the numbers. It's in my budget. Some of these girls you have to like take to the Cheesecake Factory. Fuck that. If I have to take a woman if I have to spend like minimum $75, $50 to $75 like every single date just to like impress them, get them to like me, it's not gonna work. I'm sorry. It doesn't fit in the budget. I don't need an accountant to run those numbers and tell me, hey, this isn't a good idea. You probably shouldn't do it or pursue anything. I know. I'm not going to do anything. That's just too much. Can't do it. It's not going to happen. Why am I getting so off track? Anyways, August, not a good month. So that happened. Next year, August 2017. Just, again, not a great month. And then last August, again, not good. Not great. Although last August I did new Alice in Chains album came out in August, and I caught my first foul ball at a Diamondbacks game. So last August was a step forward in the right direction of turning August into a winning, culture, if you will. Okay, so this August I'm a little worried. I've said this the last couple podcasts. I'm afraid for August because it's supposed to be this really good month. I got two new albums coming out. I got a new book. Hopefully I can go to the Slipknot show. I still got to buy tickets for that. And, we'll see what happens. With the Slipknot album, we've only had one single. And a good friend of mine, Zane, I want to have him on here. He'll be on here for sure. I just don't know when. He asked me today or yesterday, he said we've only gotten one single from the new album. I don't think the album's going to be good. Why haven't they released any more? And you think about it, it is a little like, why haven't they released two? There's like 13, 14 songs on the new album. They've only released one, and that one came back in what was it, like March or April? Or is it May? I don't know. This is why I need to get another camera so I can look shit up on my phone. I'm doing all this off the top of my head, Which I might be able to do that coming up here. So I guess I kind of spoiled that surprise. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, it is kind of like, you have an album of 14, you can release 2 or 3 singles, okay? If you have an album of 9 songs, I don't want 3 singles before. I want 1 and that's it, okay? Maybe drop a single in the week of. But even then, no, I don't want that. If it's my preferred way, if you have an album of 14 songs, you can make 3 singles tops. Okay? I'd probably say 2. Because I like to listen to the album from beginning to end as a whole. Tool, I heard there's supposed to be a new Tool single this month. And I heard that on like June 29th or June 30th. Still nothing yet. I don't know. We don't even have a new name for the Tool album, so I don't really know what to expect. I really think the new Tool album is going to be very average. It's going to be very okay. It's going to be alright. It's cool. It wasn't... It wasn't worth the 13-year wait. But, you know, it's not in my control. I mean, you think about it. 13 fucking years between albums. I know Guns N' Roses, they had like 14, 15 years between albums. Chinese Democracy, which I think, this was true. I don't know if it still is, but at one point, it was the most expensive album ever made. It was like $15 million to make that one album. That was the world record at one point. I don't know if it still is. Maybe. I mean, $15 million for one album? And I've heard the album is okay. That's the funny part. It's like $15 million for one album. That album better be fire. And you listen to it, it's like, yeah, it's alright. Jeez, I don't know. I just don't know, man. I want to know how much this new Tool album took to make. It probably doubles that. If what I'm hearing is true, if they've been writing this album for as long as they've been saying, okay, have they been writing in the studio or have they been writing in their living room? If they've been writing in their living room for this whole time, then what the fuck? If they've been writing in the studio and not making any progress, then shame on them. I'm glad you wasted all that money. You could have made this thing, knocked it out in 6 to 8 months if you really wanted to. And don't give me that whole, no one told you to tour. You wanted to. You chose to do it. These month-long tours. Why does Tool do that? And their last tour earlier this year, they were in like Florida, Alabama, all these places that like, you know, they have 10 tour dates, and 5 of them they're playing in places that aren't really even that big. I'm not criticizing or saying Florida or Alabama doesn't deserve to see it, but like, why do they do that? One year they'll go on tour, play the West Coast, and that's it. The next year they'll play the Central, that's it. 10 shows. Not even at 100%, effort. Okay? I don't know. Watching Tool perform live is like watching an athlete not run and say they're avoiding injury. That's why they're not running or hustling. And you're like, bull fucking shit. Okay? You can run fast and not injure yourself. Anyone knows this. You know your body better than anyone. And any doctor, the best doctor in the world, doesn't know your body as well as you do. So why aren't you running hard out the box? Okay? And this is actually a perfect segue, if that's the right term, or if I'm using it correctly. Alright, just give me a second. Ooh, I got my drink. That's alright. Alright, cool. Turn this shit off. So anyways, this is a perfect thing, because this is what I wanted, or transition maybe, that I wanted to talk about. Today I saw that the Philadelphia Phillies, they did not put one of their players, Maikel Franco, in their lineup because he didn't hustle. And you think about it, you don't hustle, you're usually benched. Or, if you don't hustle, you're not going to play the next game. That's pretty common, it's pretty normal. Unfortunately, if you play for a long time, you become a veteran or you get, highly paid, you don't get benched. I understand it. I still disagree with it. You want to make an example, sit down the $25 million guy because he didn't hustle. Really make an example. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to, take that risk or whatever. It's a shame. It's sad that nobody, wants to do that. Nobody's got the balls to do it, okay? But this is, and I read this, and I actually went on Facebook and wrote a pretty long post about this, kind of ranting about it. But I'm tired of athletes, and we're going to talk about baseball here, because I don't know about the other sports when it comes to, not hustling or trying, because football, there's a lot of hustle. You can't jog in that sport and get away with it, okay? The whole sport is running. Soccer is running. Hockey, everything's on ice. So, and basketball, there are different ways. But in baseball, you hustle from home to first, and it's a little easier to see. In football, I have a really strong feeling, if you don't, and sprint. If you don't sprint, then something's wrong. Something's up. I don't think you can jog or lightly hustle in football and get away with it. But again, I don't watch football, so I can't really say. We're going to talk about baseball here. There's no excuse for these players that are making millions of dollars, and maybe not everyone makes millions. Okay, the league minimum salary that a rookie can make is $550,000. $550,000. Dude, I don't even think I'll make $550,000 in my entire life. Or if I do, I'll be in my 60s, maybe 70s. This guy is a rookie at 20 whatever. Let's just say 24, 25. A couple years older than me, he's making $550,000. The least he can do is run hard out of the box. You hit a ball, you run, okay? If you hit a pop-up in foul territory, yeah, you don't have to run. Because if he drops it, nothing will happen. It's a foul ball, okay? Now, if he were to catch it and drop it in fair territory and it were to go foul, that's a fair ball. If you didn't run, that's totally your fault. You would immediately get pulled. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't happen much anymore. It only happens to young guys. And so my problem with the Philadelphia Phillies, their manager, Gabe Kapler, is he's not doing anything. He claims that he is, but I don't know if he really is. It's these managers that say this is being addressed, this will be addressed. And either the player continues to do it, or the whole team, it still does it. So it's like, are you really addressing them, or are you saying, hey, slap on the wrist, hey, don't do that, come on. And then they're like, okay, I won't, and then they keep doing it. I mean, come on, what's the incentive? The incentive should be, you're not going to play. But even then, you're still making thousands, if not millions of dollars. So you can't just run for me? Me as a spectator, you still just can't run. I'm avoiding injury. You shouldn't be playing anyways. If you're avoiding injury, you should not be playing. Because what if there's a play that requires you to run hard, but you might or might not be injured, so you're not going to run, and you cost your team the game? Well, you're just being selfish because now you just cost your team a win. And that could come back to haunt you in September when you're trying to make a playoff push and maybe go for the wild card. You missed the playoffs by a couple of games. You can look back and be like, hey, remember that game? You didn't run hard? Yeah, well, it cost us. We missed the playoffs by 2 or 3 games. And you know what? Everybody needs a scapegoat. Everybody needs a reason to be mad. And we're going to look at this and say, hey, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you run? Oh, you thought you were injured? Why didn't you say something? We have other players that can take your spot. Okay? No one's going to get on you if you say, hey, I think something's wrong with my arm or leg or whatever. Dude, we'll pull you out. We'll have somebody else in there, okay? Don't take that chance. But these athletes, and you see it all the time, these athletes get injured. They never want to leave the game. Unless they break their leg or arm, yeah, they're going to come out. But I've seen guys get hit like a batter gets hit by a pitch, wants to stay in the game. I've seen pitchers. In fact, last night on the Dodgers, pitcher Kenley Jansen got hit by a line drive comebacker on his right ankle. They still got the out, and he was limping around. Trainers came out, said he was fine, proceeded to give up 4 straight hits. Dodgers lost the game. I love that. I love that the Dodgers lost. But from a player, from a manager, from a general manager point of view, I don't like that. You can't tell me, you can't take a line drive comebacker off your right ankle, say everything is fine, proceed to give up 4 hits, and then after the game he said, I should have came out. I should not have stayed in. I should have came out. As a manager, and Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, I don't know the GM's name, said that. He said it was tough to swallow to hear him say that. Because, what? You should have came out. Why didn't you come out? Because athletes don't want to leave the game. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So back to the Phillies, Gabe Kapler keeps saying this can't happen, this is unacceptable, it's going to be addressed. Really? Is it? Because it keeps happening. It's happened, let me count. Cesar Hernandez, Rhys Hoskins, apparently, although I don't remember that one. Maikel Franco. Gene Segura's done it 2 or 3 times. Because of Gene Segura, I'm sorry, Gene Segura did not hustle, run out the box a couple weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago, and in the process, Andrew McCutchen tore his knee apart and is out for the season. Basically, long story short, Segura hit the ball out the box, and had he ran hard, the guy would have caught it. But instead, he was jogging, so the guys let the ball drop and got a double play out of it. And a lot of people are mad at Segura. I mean, rightfully so. What are you doing? You need to run down the line. I don't care if it's a line drive. I don't care if it's an automatic out. You need to run until he catches the ball and holds on to it. Okay? It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And, of course, Kapler says, oh, this will be, we're going to talk to Segura about this. We're blah, blah, blah. And he continues to, he did it like 2 or 3 times. He did not get benched. Nothing happened, obviously, because he kept doing it. So what is he doing? Is he even talking to these guys? Or is he just kind of like, is Segura just like walking around the locker room and he's just like, yo, Gene, come here for a second. All right, run down to first next time, all right? All right, cool. All right, thanks. Is that the talk? Because if that's the talk, Kapler should get fired. If you don't have control over your team, you need to get fired. Same with the Mickey Callaway on the Mets. He should have been fired a couple months ago. He should have been fired when the Mets got swept by the Marlins. Well, that's a little harsh. He shouldn't have been fired then. Okay, I'll give you that. He should have been fired after calling that reporter motherfucker. Get this motherfucker out of here. And the next day, it took him 2 press conferences to apologize. Basically, he called a press conference in. Everyone thought he was going to apologize. He basically said, he didn't say this verbatim, but the theme was he wasn't sorry. There was a misunderstanding. That was it. A couple hours later, like 45 minutes before the game starts, he calls another press conference, and then he apologizes. He needed two press conferences to say, I'm sorry, or I apologize. Really? That's when you should have got fired. If you want to say, no, he shouldn't have gotten fired when the Marlins swept the Mets. Okay, but he should have gotten fired over this whole thing, especially the whole thing of him, get this motherfucker out of here, to the reporter. That should have been like, all right, dude, we need to talk tomorrow, okay? Apologize to this guy. And the next day he doesn't do it, takes him 2 press conferences. I'd have gone up to him and said, this is your last game as manager. It took you 2 press conferences to apologize. You're done. You're done. But, of course, didn't happen. Because the Mets lead the league in dysfunction. I can't take credit for that joke. If it was a joke. I feel like I did read that somewhere. But I don't know. Anyways. And you know what? I don't know if the Phillies are going to make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, it'll be as a wild card team. And it's very tight. You got like practically the entire National League in the running for the second wild card spot. Actually, for both, really. The Nationals only have a 2-game lead, or maybe it's a 1.5-game lead. I don't know. It's close. It really is. And the Phillies, they're kind of a joke right now at the moment. They're kind of a wreck. And I will put some of the blame on the manager, because the manager has to be the hard ass. The manager has to be right there, getting on people, leading people, and doing all this. Managers nowadays in baseball are kind of like your friend. You know, they're just like, hey man, come on, that was a mistake. You can't do that. And that's it. You know, whatever happened to those old school managers that would yell at you or yell at the manager, or they would get on people? Well, yeah, we don't do that anymore. Why? Because you can't tell an old guy what to do. That's it. GMs want to run the team, but they can't do it. They need a manager. So they get these young guys. And when I say young, I mean like 40. We got 2 Coyote House here. You get these young managers in. 45, which is not young. In the sports world, for a manager, 45 is young. That's like a little too young, if you ask me. You get these young guys in there, you can tell them what to do. they're young. They're not going to do anything, you know? You get an old guy, 55, 60, 65. The older they get, they have the attitude of, look, dude, I'm old. I got maybe another 10 good years left in me. 15, okay years. And then 20, I might be gone. I got nothing to lose. I'm going to manage the game like this. This is how I run my team. So GMs fire them. They get these young guys in. Young guy's not going to stand up for himself. When you're a young guy at a new job, you don't tell other people what to do. You listen to what other people tell you. So that's what it is. And it's becoming a joke. Pretty soon you're going to see like a 35-year-old manager running a team. And hey, you know what? It's not really working. Well, hold on. Let's look at this. Who won the World Series last year? The Red Sox. They had Alex Cora. Pretty young, although he was a first-year manager. First-year managers, that's when teams usually do the best. All right, there you go. 3 coyote howls. I've noticed first-year managers, in their first year, that's usually when the team performs the best. Alex Cora with the Red Sox. First year, won the World Series. Torey Lovullo of the Diamondbacks, first year, huge turn, made the playoffs. Didn't win the World Series, still made the playoffs though. And let's see, Mike Scioscia of the Angels, 2002, won the World Series with the Angels. Bob Brenly with the Diamondbacks, 2001, first year manager, won the World Series. All right, who else? I feel like there's somebody else recently that I'm missing. Joe Girardi of the Yankees. I feel in 2000, they won in 2009, so I think it was his second year. Pretty close to his first, but technically it doesn't go with what I'm saying. I'm just saying, though, it's still early on in his managerial career. And I really felt like there was somebody else that I was missing. Oh, John Farrell of the Red Sox in 2013. First year as a manager, they won the World Series. So, these managers, really, their first year, that's their best shot because now the team's playing under a new manager. He has a different way of managing things. The Rangers might make the playoffs this year. They got a new manager, Chris Woodward, I believe. Are they? In my years of watching baseball, they have a chance for the wild card spot. Will they make it farther than that? Probably not. They might make the wild card and then lose. If they're lucky, go to the division series and then lose in the division series. Maybe. I have no idea. But like I said, let's look at these managers. A lot of these managers are fairly, young. Like I said, air quotations, on the younger side. Okay? How many old managers we got left? We got Bruce Bochy for the Giants and Joe Madden for the Cubs. I really feel like everywhere else has a 40-year-old manager. Which, again, is like, look, you want to do that, that's fine. But you kind of have to have that old guy in there. Because they know how to get things done. Because they don't care. They run a business. They're not trying to please every single person. That's another thing that has always got to me. Like, how there are some managers that try to please every single customer that walk in. You can't do that. You can't please every single customer. You're going to piss off some people. You're going to piss off a lot of people. But hey, you know what? It's the policy. It's your rules you came up with. Are you going to have rules and then just break them for everybody? If word gets out, then what are you going to do? I worked at a place where a guy gave free stuff away. It wasn't even our fault. And yet we still gave this person a free everything. Why? We didn't do anything. Oh, it's good customer service. Word will get out that we're really nice. No. Word's going to get out that we just give free stuff away if they complain. So, no, wrong. So you get these super young people coming in to manage, and they get overwhelmed because, look, I'm sorry, but I see like 20-year-olds managing like some of these big businesses. They shouldn't. Okay? I'm sorry, they shouldn't. They could be an assistant. Like Dwight on The Office, they could be assistant to the, manager. But there's just too many. It's too young, okay? It's too young. All right? Look, there's a difference between this guy is racist, misogynistic, we need to let him go, fire him. Okay, that makes sense. If a guy is running a place and it's unorthodox, but he's not doing anything technically wrong or illegal, but he's getting the job done, why are you going to go in and change it? You're going to bring in a guy that does everything by the book, by the rules, and it's just like, hey, this store is losing profit. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Because you came in, tried to micromanage, you fucked it up, and it's like, well, we can go back and get the guy. That guy's not going to want to come back. Why would he? Why would he go back? How are you going to explain that? Hey, we thought we knew what we were doing by firing you, but we actually don't. So could you come back and fix it? I'd be like, no. Unless you give me a hefty raise or something like that. We can't do that. Well, good luck fixing it. Sorry. I don't know. They're like these managers. It's just ridiculous. And how come managers never stick up for their workers or their employees? They always take the customer side. Customers will come in and complain because they're not the exception to the rule. Call you out. The manager will come up in front of you, point at you and say, why didn't you do this for blah, blah, blah? I'm so sorry. We'll take care of this. Customer leaves. That manager will actually have the nerve to come up to you and say, hey, just want to let you know you were actually doing a good job. You know, way to follow those rules. And it's like, why don't you say this in front of the customer? Why don't you stick up for me in front of them? Because you just gave them false advertising. They think you're being a hard ass and doing all this, when in reality it's like, no, you're being a pushover. And then you're coming up to me saying good job. Dude, why the fuck would I want to work here? Alright, I'm out. And yeah, I have gotten in trouble over the past year, ever since I started working. Because it's like, what, Stone, you could have just given it to her. Oh, that's not the rules. The rules say this. Now we're going to break the rules all of a sudden? Why? What if the person behind her hears I broke the rules? So they're going to come up and say the same thing. Well, I got to break rules for them. Then they're going to come out and say, hey, at this place, so-and-so, you can do whatever you want. All you got to do is complain. That's not right. That's not right. But now it's kind of like, yeah, just complain. Complain enough, threaten to sue, or get your phone out and start recording, and you can kind of get whatever you want. That's not right. It really isn't. And that's a major problem in today's society. Everybody wants to be the exception to the rule. Everybody wants to, you can't do this, but I'll let it slide, this time, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. And I'm not talking about if you go to buy something and it's $13.02. And people are like, give you $13. It's just like, just forget about the 2 cents. All right, I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking like, hey, I know your sale is over. It ended a week ago, but can I still get that sale? Can I still get that? No, you can't. It's over. I'm sorry. And they're just like, is this the kind of fucking shithole company you run? I'm calling your fucking, corporate. And then corporate, they call corporate, and corporate gets back to you, and you're like, dude, it says expires on this date. It was a week later. Why would I, keep this going? We don't do it. Well, next time, just let us know. Really? You want to get dragged in on situations that aren't a big deal or shouldn't be? That's not right. It really isn't. And look, there are a lot of great bosses out there. But there are some people out there that just, they shouldn't be a boss, all right? They should be demoted and go right back to being an expendable worker, okay? Just saying. I don't know. I say all this not because I could manage, a restaurant or a business or anything like that. Or when I say business, I know a restaurant is a business. I'm talking like a paper company or a warehouse, stuff like that. A warehouse is different than a restaurant when it comes to, being a boss and running that stuff, okay? I don't know if I could do either. Now, I could probably be a manager of a ball club. If you're getting that vibe, I think this guy could maybe be a manager of the Diamondbacks. Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. To an extent, okay? Until we're told managers don't make, in-game decisions, then what the fuck? What do we do? All right? Seriously. And what is it? Some guy, Michael Kay of the Yankees. Really like that guy, has a show. He says the exact same thing. It's like our managers making these decisions, or our general managers, our analytic guys telling them to do this. We don't know. But we have to blame somebody. Team lost, we have to have a scapegoat. We have to blame somebody, If a business goes down, there has to be somebody to blame. Company files for bankruptcy. Why? There's got to be somebody to blame here. It's not the economy. No, there's something else. Something happens. It's because of this. But you know what? Like I said, I say all this not because I know I can be a better manager or whatever, but there are just some things that are a joke. You know what's a joke? People who get caught doing steroids or any illegal drug in sports. You know what the funny part is? The penalty. The fine they pay. They get suspended. Good. But then they get fined. You know what these fines are? They're a joke. They're like these fines that are for $80,000. $80,000. That's a joke because a lot of these athletes are making $20 million. They're making $20 million. You're going to fine them for $80,000. Do you really think that's going to put a dent in their wallet? Do you really think that's going to make them go, oh, I better not do steroids again, blah, 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 blah. Well, the fine's not that bad. Now, when you get caught doing steroids multiple times, the punishment gets more severe. And I think if you get 3 or 4 steroid busts, you're banned from the game permanently. So, obviously, you get caught once, that's pretty much the end of it. But even then, you want to cut down on that first penalty? $80,000? Really? It might be $80,000. It might actually be less than that. I'm not sure. But for baseball, they get suspended for 80 games, and they get fined X amount of money. You want to go after these guys and get them to stop, got to go after their money. Okay? Because there's no incentive to not do it. You want to go after these guys. They care more about their money than anything else. That's clearly been shown since the beginning of time. Not even in sports, in life. People go where the money is. Okay? Yeah, you want to be happy, but if you make $50,000 more at another job than another one, you're probably going to take that other job. Especially if it's like the same level of, I like both, but I make more money here, I'll go there. Alright? So in sports, you would think, why don't you just play for the fans? Play to be happy. Why are you going somewhere you don't want to go to basically lose just to make an extra $10 million? That's ridiculous. So you go after these guys' money. If you get paid $20 million and you get caught doing steroids, I think you should lose half your salary. That team gets to keep $10 million. You only make $10 million that year. Minimum. It should be more. But I'm willing to kind of ease up a little bit. Yeah, ease up, quote unquote, But yeah, you should definitely pay a lot more than thousands of dollars. You should be paying millions of dollars. It's a disgrace to the sport. Alright? And what people don't get, steroids doesn't make you hit better. It makes you stronger, but it doesn't make you see the ball better, blah, blah, blah. Dude, steroids help you get over injuries quicker. That's one of the biggest things. Yeah, it makes you stronger. Yeah, so if you're Mark McGwire and you're already hitting home runs, then you can hit 10 more or 15 more when you do steroids. That's not the biggest thing. One of the biggest aspects of steroids is you get over injuries quicker. You always hear about it. My friend gave me this cream and I put it on my knee. I didn't know it was steroids. It's like, why? Why would you accept? I don't care if it's your best friend. Don't do that. If I was in the locker room for the Miami Marlins and I'm getting ready for a game, and a good friend of mine, a teammate, came up to me and said, hey, put this cream on your knee, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry if he doesn't want to be best friends anymore. I'm not putting any cream or any substance on my body because it could be steroids. But apparently players are that dumb, they do that. And they always have that same lame excuse. I don't know what I'm putting in my body. A friend of mine gave it to me. I just did it. Well, really? That's all it takes? Man, it's ridiculous. Go after their money. That's the only way you'll get these guys to stop. Nobody would do steroids ever again if you go after half of their salary. So if they're making $8 million, and if they get caught, they make $4 million, no one's going to do it. It's like if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket, and the ticket was $12. It's like, what's the incentive to not get caught? It's only $12. I can afford that. So I'll just kind of speed again. But if the speeding ticket went up to $750 for one ticket, I guarantee you're not going to see as many people get speeding tickets. All right? That's a lot of money. Well, that's the point. You want to cut down on, all this crap, then you need to make the punishments more severe. Not like severe to the point where it's like $230. Oh, fuck, that's bad. Yeah, but can you imagine getting a $500 speeding ticket? Dude, that sucks. Now bump it up to $750. You're never going to speed again. You're probably going to go under the speed limit. All right? Now, speeding and doing steroids in baseball or any sport are two different things, but you get what I'm saying of there's really no disincentive. There's no incentive to do anything. If the punishment is, hey, don't do that, you're going to do it. Because the punishment's not that bad, It's like if you were to steal from a store and the punishment was, hey, don't do that, and that's it. It's like, I'm going to keep doing it if this is all it. But if you were to get caught stealing and you were to get a year in prison, you won't steal anymore because that's too big of a risk. You're not going to take it. So that's what it is. It should be, if you get caught doing this, this is the risk. A huge fucking fine. You're suspended, blah, blah, blah. This is it. You want to take that risk? Most people say no. All right? That's what it should be. But it isn't. It isn't. And then there's nothing, really anybody can do about it. So, it is what it is. And we're at 42 minutes. Now, a lot of this has been baseball talk, so if you've gotten this far, I greatly appreciate it. I try to get some real-life metaphors or real-life lessons involved in it, so hopefully this works out, What the actual fuck? Thought I saw someone I recognized coming out the store. Huh. Weird. What was I going to say? So, you know what? Who's honking their horn? Jeez. Oh, apparently, now, I'm not bragging here, but I guess I am a little bit just by bringing it up and talking about it. But I was genuinely surprised at this yesterday. But I went into the school, because it's that magical time where I have to, time for school. Gotta, start back up. What the fuck? That's weird. Why are these two things different? Huh. I bought some Pennzoil, and they're both, why are they, one's right, one's left. Alright, you know what? What the hell? What's the difference? Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind next time I buy something. I think I may have bought one good and one not so good, or maybe they're the same. I don't fucking know. That's really strange. Alright, well, I went to the school yesterday. It's time for to sign up for classes and everything. I get financial aid. I'm open about it. There you go. I have financial aid. Or I get it. I'm applying for it. So I went down to but the thing is I lost the list of classes I had already accomplished. So I don't know what classes I have to take. So I had to go, excuse me, I had to go down to the school. I had to go down to the fucking school. I waited an hour and a half in that line. There were 8 people in front of me. It took me an hour and a half. What the hell are they talking about in there? Their life story or something like that? Dude, it should be, here's my question, help me, blah, blah, blah. All right, here's another question. There we go. All right, we're good. I mean, seriously. And you know what the funny part is? I went in, I talked to the guy for about maybe 20, 25 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be that long. But he told me a bunch of things I didn't know. I basically wanted to just get a list of all the classes I need to take and then refill the whole thing out and then be like, oh, I got to do this. But in the process of that, he told me, he added up all of my electives, apparently, or credits. Apparently, I'm only 15 credits away from getting my associates. I didn't know I was that close. I thought I was like barely halfway done. I thought I just reached the 30 credit mark. And you need at least 60 to get your, your AA. So he said that, and I'm like, really? And not gonna lie, it was a good feeling, So, but here's the funny part. I'm 15 credits away. Technically, I could get it this semester if I want to take like 5 classes, and, fuck that. If I have to take 2 natural sciences, including a lab. Not looking forward to that. I have to take 2 natural sciences, critical reading, which apparently if I take the placement test and score high enough, I can test out of it. He showed me 1 question. I don't think I'm going to pass that, so I might just have to take the class. And then cultural diversity in the U.S. type class. So I don't know what that would consist of. So, with that said, I need to get that, because I don't know what I'm going to take. I might take physical geography, which I think is earth science, the guy told me. I think if I'm remembering that right. But here's the funny part. I'm trying to get to it. Both natural science courses are worth 4 credits each. So that's 8. Critical reading is 3. And then the other class, the diversity, thing, that's another 3. You add that up, that's 14. If I take all 4 of those classes and pass, I'm going to get 59 out of 60 credits. I'm going to be 1 credit short. That's just my kind of luck, where it's like, hey, congrats, you're really close, but you're going to finish 1 short. It's like, you got to be kidding me. That's like retiring with 2,999 hits in baseball. It's like, you needed just 1 more to pretty much be in the Hall of Fame. What's wrong with you? You would probably get in the Hall of Fame, but 3,000, you get 3,000 hits, you're guaranteed a spot. 2,999, people are going to look, you're going to be a meme. You don't want to be a meme. Unless it's like a good kind, but yeah, I don't know. But anyways, dude, I'm telling you, this fucking, did I really buy 2 different things on here? It can't be that big of a difference. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm that close to finishing. And then once I get that finished, I can transfer to probably ASU and start like the teaching program and take history teaching classes. So making progress a lot quicker than I thought. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, I'm trying not to brag or gloat, but I just thought it was funny that not only was I that close, but I'm going to finish 1 credit short. If I take 4 classes, and that's full-time. It's like 12 credits is a full-time gig for a student. Even if you have 11 credits. It's like, really? Just put me down as a full-time. But anyways, we're at 49 minutes. It's been a pretty good podcast, pretty eventful to an extent. I probably talked about a lot of things that people don't know or can't relate to, but you know what? That's life. What are you going to do? What else is there? Oh yeah, I want to tell this story of, I call it my run-in with Cthulhu. Now, there's probably going to be a bunch of people out there that will Oh, that sounds familiar. What is Cthulhu? Blah blah blah. Cthulhu is a character that is a character created by H.P. Lovecraft. I know, H.P. Lovecraft. He was an author back in the early 1900s. He's kind of like science fiction, horror, thriller type. So basically, if there are horror writers, you think of Stephen King and Edgar Allan Poe. Well, he's like the underrated horror, writer, H.P. Lovecraft. And his character of Cthulhu, which, good luck spelling that. It's something like, it's like Cthulhu, but I think there's like 3 H's in there, something like that. I don't know. It's a hard word to spell. And you say Cthulhu. It's like Cthulhu. Alright? So really, I haven't read the original story, and I think he's appeared in more than one, but it's basically this huge octopus-looking creature. And the whole gist is, if you look at Cthulhu, if you look at him, you either turn to stone and die of fright, or you go insane. You go mad. I think I'd rather just die than, go insane. But, that's just me. Write in on this podcast. Would you rather die or go insane and live the rest of your life as an absolute nutcase? I really think I'd rather just die. Just saying. I don't want to be my own best friend. Is that a better way to put it? To quote the Metallica lyric from Escape. Yeah, Escape from Metallica. He says that. He's like, I know I'm my best friend. So if you look at him, you either die, turn to stone and die, or you go insane, okay? Apparently, because I haven't read it, but I've read about, the character Cthulhu. If you say or think his name, and you say it the right way, he gets closer to you. Wherever you're at, or wherever he's at, he gets closer to you. That's why, if you look at Metallica's album, Ride the Lightning, if you look on the back, they have a song called Call of Cthulhu. They spelt it wrong on purpose. They spelt it K-T-U-L-U. Cthulhu. Because if you say his name right, or spell it right, or think it right, he gets closer to you. So if you say it wrong, you're safe. That's really cool. When I first found that out. Because you look at it and you go, they spelled that wrong. These are grown adults. How'd they miss that? They did it on purpose. To keep up with the, tradition of it. And I guarantee a lot of people are going to look this up. And I'm sorry, I will brag here, but I'm 100% right. So look that shit up. Look it up, boy. Anyways, we're getting towards the end. This is the home stretch of the podcast here. Thanks for tuning in. So that's pretty much the background story of Cthulhu, what it is. Now, a couple years ago, I was scrolling on Facebook, and I was friends with this guy on Facebook I never even met, or maybe saw him one time my entire life. I don't even remember the guy's name. That's how, memorable, quote-unquote memorable this guy was. And that's why Facebook is kind of funny, because it's like, hey, so-and-so sent you a friend request. You met him one time. Or in your head you go, I saw that guy once in high school. He wants to be friends. I guess I'll accept it. I guess. He liked this Facebook page about this video game called Call of Cthulhu. The video game. That's what it's actually called. I think it's really called Call of Cthulhu, the video game. And I looked up the trailer. The trailer looked great. It's for the Xbox One. And this was back in late 2016, early 2017. So now I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm looking forward to this video game because for a couple years, a year and a half, I was turned off by video games. And it was because of Black Ops 3. But you know what? That's for another time. That's for the next table podcast. Real table podcast. So this kind of got me excited for video games again. Well, with that, the video game took a year and a half to come out. And the best part was we didn't get any updates. So it's like, hey, any update on that video game? Oh, no, they're just working on it. I guess maybe one day we'll find out how far along they are. So that video game was announced. that's when I started to read up on Cthulhu. And I was reading about it. I thought it was interesting. I read the character bio. I even told Alex, who I'm going to have on here someday when he gets back from London. And I read that thing. It was like, if you say his name or think it, he gets closer to you. So you have to say his name wrong. And I'm like, what a bunch of bullshit. And it's just like Cthulhu, saying it on repeat. And this was in February of 2017. So I kept saying that to myself. It was a bunch of horse shit, blah, blah, blah. I woke up the next morning. I think it was like February 9th or February 17th or whatever. I woke up. I have chocolate milk every morning. I don't drink coffee. I have chocolate milk. I woke up and I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about Cthulhu lately. It's making me think of the Metallica song. I haven't watched it in a while on YouTube. I know there's a performance of them playing it at the Orion Festival a few years back. I'm going to go on YouTube and watch it. So I made my chocolate milk. I go over to the computer. I sit down. I type in Metallica, Call of Cthulhu. Type in enter. You know what I saw? Metallica performed Call of Cthulhu the night before. In Sweden, I think? Don't quote me on that. But they played it the night before. And I was like, what the fuck? The feeling I had go through my body when I saw that they played it the night before. And the whole 2-3 days, I was going, there's a bunch of horse shit about saying Cthulhu's name, or thinking it, I'm saying it right, blah, blah, blah. And then this happens. I was like, alright, I'm backing off this shit. This is a little fucking weird for me. And a couple days ago, I looked it up, and to make sure, they haven't played that song since then. They played it once in the past 6 years, 5-6 years. The one time was when I kept saying, this is a load of horse shit about the Cthulhu thing. How weird is that? That's weird. And I call that story my run-in with Cthulhu. Because it's like, hey, don't fuck with me. And it's like, alright, I won't fuck with you. Alright? This shit was weird. You're telling me they hadn't played this song in 3 years? And right when I say, I want to watch this, they fucking played it the night before? And they haven't played it since? Like, holy shit. This is... alright. And I think it's a funny, interesting story. And it's a really weird one. Because, like I said, the feeling that went through my body when I went online and saw it was like... It wasn't like a feeling of dread, but it was a feeling of... I was very uneasy. Like, okay, what is this? I literally thought this, like, last night or 2 days ago. Now this happens? Like, what the shit? It was weird. It was a little freaky. One of the weirdest occurrences in my life. Oh, here's another weird occurrence. This is a shorter story, but I may have told this story on here, but if not, here it is. If I have, then whatever. And I'll probably end it after this, but I go to California like practically every year. I always make a trip over, go to Disneyland and go to the beach. I might do one of those two. We'll see what happens. Might go to San Diego, see a Padres game. We'll see. So I would go over, and there's this record store in Carlsbad, Spin Records. It's a great little store. It's small, but they got a lot of shit in there. You got to go into Spin Records. It's a great store. Big shout out to them. Big table shout out to Spin Records in Carlsbad, California. All right. So I would go over there. I really like bootlegs. I mean, I'm a huge music fan. I don't care if the quality's not that good. I like that. I want to be there and hear what the audience heard. Even if there's a mistake. Everybody's human. How big was the mistake? Was it something small? Was it something major? Or whatever. Apparently, I would go over there. And this dates back a few years. Let's say 3 years ago. Maybe even 4. But let's just say 3. I would go over there to that record store, go into Pearl Jam bootlegs, look through, And they had a bootleg from, I think, Perth, Australia, I think, if I'm saying that right. I'll just say Australia, all right, just in case I'm saying that name wrong. Australia. I didn't buy it. Next year or 6 months, I'd come back, go to the record store. It was there. I went to that record store maybe 4 or 5 separate times in a course of like 2.5, 3 years. That same record was still there. So last year in January 2018, me and a friend went to Disneyland. We went to that record store. That thing was there. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Either this same record, this same CD has been here for 3 years straight and nobody's picked it up, which is weird, or somebody keeps buying it, but they keep replacing it with this same one copy. Because every time I came over, it would just be that one copy. I never found 2. It was always 1. So I looked at this and I'm like, I think this is a sign that I'm supposed to buy this thing. Nobody's bought it. Every time I come in here, it's right here. I think I need to get it. So answer me this. There are 2 questions on this podcast people could answer to themselves or comment on the comments below. Would you rather die, or would you rather live insane for the rest of your life? Like insane, you live in a house. You know, a nutcase in an insane asylum, okay? Or, which do you think is a more unbelievable occurrence? I go to the same record store for 3 years. There's one CD nobody touched for 3 years. Or, I go to that same record store and people keep buying that CD, but they always keep getting that one copy in there every time I go in. Which is more bizarre and just amazing? Answer me that. Message me, comment below, just let me know. I think the same record being in there, nobody ever buying it, is more unbelievable. But we'll never know. We'll see what happens. I was meant to buy that CD, and I bought it, listened to it. It was a good CD. It was a good bootleg. And you know what? With that said, that's the Real Table Podcast. This is a good one. Episode 29. It was a good one. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. And all right, episode 30 on Saturday. We'll see you then, hopefully. Everyone have a safe few days before I check in on you on Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Table Nation. And I'll see you later. I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.